Hi, I'm Heather Capps, and we're here today at City Limits with William Clark Green for the JTAC Jukebox. Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well.
Good.
Well.
Like I said, thank you so much for meeting with us today. I'm
You're
so
welcome.
excited.
It's always good to be in Stephenville.
Well, we love having you here for sure. So, how's your tour going?
This year's been great. It's been crazy. Live record, just wrapped it up a few weeks ago at Green Hall. Hopefully released early this spring, or later this spring actually. And just a lot of things going on. This spring is pretty jam-packed full of stuff. And then, of course, Larry Joe Taylor is coming right around the corner.
We're excited for that. So, what's your favorite song to play on tour?
I think it varies every night. Some songs get more attention each night depending on where we are. And each on each record, the last song's our favorite song on the record. So anytime those songs get an applause, we're pretty happy. So.
Oh, well, She Likes the Beatles is definitely my
Awesome.
favorite.
Well, that one typically goes over pretty well.
Okay, so I have a special question for
Sure.
you. My roommate wanted me to ask you, he loves you, by the way, wanted me to ask you what your inspiration was for writing the specific song Ringling Road.
The song itself and the inspiration are kind of two separate things. They kind of come together for the idea, and then they kind of separated when we started writing it.
Yeah.
But I've been living in Eastland, Texas for about 5, maybe 6 years now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a road there called Ringling Lake Road, and there's a piece of property that's open to the public. You can go out there and drive your truck around, or there's a pond you can fish on. And I asked someone what the significance of the road was, and the story I heard, whether it's true or not, is debatable, is that the Ringling brothers bought this piece of property back in the oil boom back in the 20s. Because back then, like Cisco had like 250,000 people living in it. And their plan was to build an amusement park and in Eastland at this property. Well, the oil boom went bust, and they held on to the property, and the story I heard is they would come through on the train, and they would stop at that lake, and they would let the elephants out to drink from the lake, and they'd fill the boiler up on the train and all sorts of stuff. And that's, people told me that's not true, but that's where the inspiration for the song came. And then when I pitched the idea to my buddy, Ross Cooper, who's a friend of mine from Lubbock, now living in Nashville, he said the night before I called him, he had met this guy named Randall Clay, who was the roustabout for 10 years in the circus.
Oh, wow.
And so we got him on the right too, and it was kind of his interpretation of what he went through in Florida in the circus. And so it didn't really, the song's not necessarily about Eastland, it just kind of was inspired by the Ringling Road and Ringling Lake and that kind of idea. The song just kind of went its own route. And honestly, when we recorded, it almost got cut from the record 3 times. When I wrote it, my producer didn't really like it, and then in pre-production, well, I wasn't there yet. It's not that she didn't like it. Pre-production almost got cut because it just wasn't working. And then in the studio, we tried it one more time, and it really wasn't working in the studio. And then this one guy named John Dedrich, who was playing keys on our record, came up with the drum beat for it. And it just kind of, we were like, holy crap, that's it. So we didn't think anybody liked the song. And the day we figured out people were jumping on board with it was actually at City Limits. We played it one night, and everybody started going, la, da, 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 and we were like, what is going on? We had no clue. I think it was before the record even came out. So It was, if you'd asked me if there'd ever been a single or ever been a big song of ours, I would have told you hell no, because it was something we did for us. It was a creative, kind of outside the box song that we liked, and we had no idea that people would gravitate towards it like they have. I
think that's the reason people like it, though, because it is so out there.
And that's kind of the beautiful thing about the Texas music scene is you can kind of have songs like that and they'll be appreciated. If you put that song out on Top 40 radio, there's no way. And there's still some radio stations that won't play it, and I don't even get mad at them. I don't blame them. We pushed it as a single. I think it went to number 8, and we knew a lot of radio stations wouldn't play it. We knew some would, and we pushed it strictly because for the fans. I mean, we strictly did it because we knew that's what our fan base wanted to hear, and that's why we did it.
Well, I personally love it.
Thank you. And that's the thing, is some people take the song a little too personal, and it's not meant to be at all. It's just a fun song, and it's really bizarre because I get some Facebook messages saying that their kids got sent to the principal's office because they've been singing the song, and it's like, me personally, I'm just like, man, should I have written that song? Should I have released that song? So it's kind of funny.
That's funny. So looking at your career, where you started and where you are now, What is some advice that you would give to yourself if you could like go back in time and be like, hey man, it's gonna be okay?
Man, there's no real way to prepare yourself for what you go through, especially that we've been doing this. We're starting our 8th year,
Wow.
really like yesterday, I think. We were starting our 8th year, and you know, Wade Bowen told me when I first started out, he said you have to devote 10 years of your life to it, and that was something that was really mind blowing for me, and that's what helped me out the most because. There is, not to say that there's an expiration date, but I gave in my head, okay, I have a college degree from Tech. I want to pursue this I'm going to do it for 10 years, and then if it's not working, I'm going to move on. Mm-hmm. Like it gave me made me feel more comfortable about chasing it, you know. Mm-hmm. And it got to the point where after 4 years, after the hell, the worst is the first 4 years are the worst. After the first 4 years, it starts to kind of get accepted in the circle, and things start getting better and easier. And now it's like, if I'd have told myself where we are now, you know, I would have been way more willing to go through what we went through. But you don't know. You don't know what people are going to go through. I mean, we played Stephenville for 5 years before we even got anybody into Bosstoks, you know, 4 or 5 years before we really got a good crowd of the Bosstoks. And then we're fortunate enough to come over here to City Limits and play for bigger crowd. And a lot of that has to do with Larry Joe Taylor, the festival. Wow. You know, that's a really big thing to be on. And blessed, fortunate, and have a lot of good friends.
Well, good. So where did you get your degree in?
I got my degree in agriculture economics.
Wow.
So from Tech.
Big difference.
It took me 6 years, yeah. I don't know what I would be doing if it wasn't for music. I kind of graduated out of spite. My parents didn't really think that I could do it. I don't know. I'm sure they thought I could do it. They knew I didn't want to do it. So I stuck with it. It took me 6 years, but we were touring at the same time. So
gotcha.
it was
sense.
really difficult.
Yeah. So what are your major musical influences? Like, where does it come from?
Biggest one is Willis Sound Ramsey. He's a guy that came out with the record in the 70s, kind of Lyle Lovett, Guy Clark, Townes Van Zandt era of things. And he's my number one. Chris Knight's definitely up there. I have like 5. Chris Knight's up there. He's really, really big focal point and songwriting. That's kind of where, after Willis, that was the next record I got into. And then Guy Clark, Lyle Lovett, and Townes. I'm not as big as a Townes fan as I wish I was. Mm-hmm. Not that I don't like his music. It's just I like Guy, Lyle, Willis, and Chris a whole lot more. I could sit here and say I'm like the biggest Townes fan. I'd be lying though. Like I really appreciate what he did, and I love some songs. I think they're brilliant, but I'm not listening to it every day. I still listen to those records every day, you know, and I did it constantly in my CD player, and it's crazy to see, you know, whenever you first start out, when you first start writing, kind of do it as a love, and try to mimic what they're doing or copy, or not, copy really what they're doing in an emotion standpoint, or what a song is supposed to feel like, and then seeing it kind of come to reality, you know, 15 years later is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. So out of the Texas country scene right now, who is your favorite besides, you know, yourself, obviously?
Well, Josh Abbott is one of my best friends in the scene. He has helped us out tremendously since day one. And he's always been such a big fan of ours and helped us out, I mean, so much. Man, it's hard to pick a favorite. I'd say the person I listen to the most in my vehicle, you know, it's really hard for me not to love listening to Randy. I love listening to Randy Rogers, and those guys are awesome. And Wade's got some songs that are just really, really creative. And, you know, I'm a big Stoney fan. And there's some young guys right now that are doing some really cool stuff too. So it's hard to pick a favorite, but I'd say the one I listen to the most is Randy. I'm probably his songs are so easy to listen to, so easy to sing along to, and it's good, easy listening music.
Well, you just named all my favorite too.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, there's a handful of guys that are really, really, really talented, and the awesome thing about the scene is everyone has so much respect for each other and are willing to help each other out. That's
awesome.
It's a really cool scene to be part of.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Especially once you kind of get in the circle and start getting some of that respect for, you know, what you're doing. Man, it's a really cool scene. This guy's stand behind you.
Awesome. Okay, last question. Do you ever get nervous going on stage?
I did at Green Hall. I did it first time at Billy Bob's. I couldn't say anything but thank you. But the second time we played Billy Bob's, it was more like, you know, okay, we got this. We're here. We're doing it. And like the second night at Green Hall, we did 2 nights. The second night was kind of like, okay, the hard night's over with. Now let's just have fun, guys. And you know, I can't tell you how many times we play a show where like the next word I can't remember, and then all of a sudden it just comes out.
Yeah.
And so I'm terrified of forgetting my words. You'd be surprised how much that happens. You kind of slur something in the microphone, and hopefully no one notices.
Just let the audience sing it.
Yeah, but never been like completely blank. Actually, I guess I have, but not like in a big setting like Larry Joe Taylor or a big show. It was always a show that like no one was really listening to anyway. My mind was somewhere else.
That's awesome. That's so funny. Well, thank you so much for meeting with us tonight and sitting down with us. And I hope we can chat with you again in a few weeks when you come back for Larry Joe.
Yeah, well, see you guys out there.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really
It's
excited.
always
We're trying to get some more people under our belt. So.
Man, I think everybody needs like little wheelchairs out there. It is.
Man, wouldn't that be nice?
It's a debacle out there, man. It's crazy.
All right, William Clark Green. He's pretty cool. You know, awesome. We out.
Thank you, guys.
Peace. I suck at closing. The opening I'm good at, the closing not so much. Thanks.
Well, thank God for editing. You just zoom in on, do it again and zoom in on her.
No, zoom in on him. Out. Okay, turn off the camera. Christopher.